The human ship drifted silently above the glowing alien plateau, its metal hull reflecting the soft light of the 3 moons hanging in the sky. Captain Adrian stared through the cockpit window, curiosity and fear fighting inside him. He had traveled across light years to explore this uncharted world, but nothing in his training had prepared him for what he saw. Below him, a figure appeared, moving with a grace that seemed almost unreal. She was humanoid in shape, but her skin shimmered like liquid metal under the moonlight, and a subtle glow ran along her limbs. Adrian's eyes widened, and he felt a strange tension in his chest. He could not look away. The alien noticed him instantly, her eyes bright and intelligent, and she tilted her head slightly. "Human, does the shape between my legs confuse you?" she asked, her voice melodic but strange. Adrian blinked, unsure if he had heard correctly, his mind racing to understand her meaning. He felt a flush of embarrassment and fascination, and he struggled to respond. She smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. It was calm and knowing, as if she could read his thoughts. "You stare too much," she said softly, yet there was power in her tone. "Is that why you act so oddly?" Adrian swallowed hard, his voice caught in his throat. He wanted to speak, to explain, but no words came. The wind of the alien world whipped across the plateau, carrying strange scents and a soft hum that seemed alive. The alien's presence was magnetic, pulling him toward her despite the fear in his mind. He remembered his mission, to explore, to study, to make contact if possible, and yet every instinct told him to stay back. "Do you mean to harm me?" Adrian finally asked, his voice shaky. The alien laughed softly, a sound like wind chimes. "Harm you? No, human. I am curious, that is all," she said, stepping closer, her movements fluid and elegant. Adrian noticed her eyes change color, shifting from blue to gold and back, and he felt an almost electric energy in the air around her. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled, and glowing spikes erupted from the plateau like jagged teeth. Adrian stumbled backward, fear and adrenaline surging through him. The alien raised her hands, and an invisible force shielded them both from the spikes. "Do not be afraid," she said calmly. "You are here because you must see, because you are ready to understand." Adrian's mind raced. He had never seen anything like this. The combination of alien power and strange beauty was overwhelming. He took a cautious step forward, unsure why he did, yet something inside him urged him to trust, to follow. The alien extended her hand, palm up, a gesture that was both invitation and warning. "You may learn much if you come with me," she said, "but you must leave fear behind, human, or it will destroy you." Adrian hesitated, looking at the glowing spikes, the alien's shifting eyes, the soft hum of the plateau, and then, with a deep breath, he reached out and touched her hand. Immediately, a surge of warmth and energy ran through him, and images flashed in his mind. Cities of light, vast ships floating through stars, beings of unimaginable power. He stumbled, overwhelmed, and she steadied him, her grip firm but gentle. "You see now," she whispered, "you are not alone, human, and you will not face the galaxy unprepared." Adrian's fear began to fade, replaced by awe and a strange sense of purpose. He realized that this encounter was not random. It was fate, a crossing of paths that would change everything he knew about life, power, and the universe. The alien looked at him again, her expression unreadable. "There is more to see, more to learn, human, but you must follow carefully," she said. Adrian nodded, determination growing inside him. He had come to explore, to discover, and now he understood that his journey had just begun. The plateau stretched endlessly, filled with shadows and light, dangers and secrets, and together they stepped forward into the unknown. Above, the moon shone brightly, casting a silver glow over the world, and for the first time Adrian felt that fear and curiosity could coexist, driving him towards something greater, something he could not yet comprehend. He looked at the alien once more, and she nodded, almost imperceptibly, as if acknowledging the bond that had already formed. And with that, the adventure began, a story of trust, courage, and the mysteries of the galaxy. Adrian followed the alien across the glowing plateau, each step revealing strange plants that pulsed with light and shadows that moved on their own. The air was thick with an energy he could feel in his bones, a quiet hum that seemed to whisper secrets. He tried to speak, to ask questions about her species, her abilities, but every time he opened his mouth, the right words escaped him. The alien glanced at him, her shifting eyes studying his hesitation. "You wonder why you feel uneasy, human," she said softly. "It is because the world you see is not all that exists. There are layers beneath, hidden from your kind." Adrian's heart pounded. He had expected danger, but this was beyond anything he had imagined, a living world full of secrets, and he was only scratching the surface. Suddenly, a shimmer of movement caught his eye, and from the mist emerged a creature, massive and sleek, its eyes glowing red. It moved silently, each step careful yet deliberate, and Adrian realized that it was watching them, waiting for a mistake. The alien stepped forward, raising her hands, and a soft golden light spread from her body, creating a shield that separated them from the predator. The creature hissed, a sound that made Adrian's chest tighten, and then it lunged, but the alien did not move to strike. Instead, she focused, and a wave of energy surged from her, sending the creature tumbling backward. Adrian gasped, amazed at the control she had. How can you do that?" he whispered. She smiled faintly. "It is not power alone, human. It is understanding, knowing how the world works and bending it to survive." As they moved deeper into the plateau, Adrian noticed that her body seemed to glow differently now, patterns appearing across her skin, intricate symbols that pulsed with the same rhythm as the strange hum in the air. "You see this?" she asked, noticing his gaze. "It is my true form, not what you first observed. You only saw the surface, the outer shape, the part that confuses you." Adrian nodded slowly, trying to absorb it all, every part of him alive with fascination and a strange nervousness. Without warning, the ground shook violently, and fissures opened around them, glowing with molten energy. Adrian stumbled, nearly falling, but the alien grabbed his arm, pulling him to safety. "You must focus, human. The plateau tests all who enter. It judges, it challenges. It does not forgive carelessness," she warned, her voice calm but firm. They ran along narrow ridges, leaping over glowing crevices, the predator still stalking from the shadows. Adrian felt fear like never before, yet alongside it was a thrill, a surge of excitement at being alive in a world so strange and alive. The alien suddenly stopped, turning to face him. "Look," she whispered, pointing to a massive crystalline structure ahead. It shimmered like a tower of light, twisting and spiraling, and Adrian could feel energy radiating from it, pulsing in sync with the alien's patterns. "This," she said, "is the heart of the plateau, the place that holds knowledge and power, but only those who prove themselves may enter." Adrian's breath caught, the stakes now clear. This was not just survival, this was a test, and he was part of it. The predator lunged. Again, faster this time, and Adrian froze for a split second, unsure if he could react. The alien moved with blinding speed, catching his gaze. "Trust yourself, human. Trust me," she said. Adrian nodded slowly, trying to absorb it all, every part of him alive with fascination and a strange nervousness. Without warning, the ground shook violently, and fissures opened around them, glowing with molten energy. Adrian stumbled, nearly falling, but the alien grabbed his arm, pulling him to safety. "You must focus, human. The plateau tests all who enter. It judges, it challenges, it does not forgive carelessness," she warned, her voice calm but firm. They ran along narrow ridges, leaping over glowing crevices, the predator still stalking from the shadows. Adrian felt fear like never before, yet alongside it was a thrill, a surge of excitement at being alive in a world so strange and alive. The alien suddenly stopped, turning to face him. "Look," she whispered, pointing to a massive crystalline structure ahead. It shimmered like a tower of light, twisting and spiraling, and Adrian could feel energy radiating from it, pulsing in sync with the alien's patterns. "This," she said, "is the heart of the plateau, the place that holds knowledge and power, but only those who prove themselves may enter." Adrian's breath caught, the stakes now clear. This was not just survival. This was a test, and he was part of it. The predator lunged again, faster this time, and Adrian froze for a split second, unsure if he could react. The alien moved with blinding speed, catching his gaze. "Trust yourself, human, trust me," she said. Adrian nodded, and together they moved as one, dodging the creature, leaping across the glowing fissures, the crystal heart growing closer with each step. The predator hissed again, furious, but the alien's energy shield flared, sending it crashing into the plateau wall. Adrian felt his heart pounding, the mix of fear and exhilaration coursing through him. Finally, they reached the base of the crystal, its surface smooth and alive, pulsing with light that seemed almost sentient. The alien placed her hand on it, and a doorway of energy opened, shimmering like liquid starlight. "You may enter, human," she said, her eyes intense. "But remember, what lies inside will test you further than any predator, any obstacle, any fear you have ever known." Adrian swallowed hard, heart racing, and stepped forward, feeling the warmth of the alien's hand guiding him. As they entered the glowing doorway, the plateau behind them seemed to vanish, replaced by an endless corridor of light and shifting shadows. He realized in that moment that his journey had truly begun, and nothing, not fear, not confusion, not the galaxy itself, would ever be the same again. Adrian stepped cautiously into the glowing corridor, the walls shimmering with patterns that shifted as if alive. Every step echoed softly, yet it felt as though the light itself was watching him, gauging his courage and resolve. The alien moved beside him, her hand brushing his shoulder lightly, a silent signal that he was not alone. "This place," she said softly, her voice carrying both pride and warning, "is older than any human records. It holds secrets that could change the galaxy." Adrian swallowed, his mind racing to comprehend the enormity of her words. He had faced danger before, but nothing like this. An ancient intelligence, alive in crystal and energy, judging him silently. As they advanced, shadows shifted along the walls, forming shapes that seemed almost humanoid. Adrian's heart beat faster. "Are those creatures real?" he whispered. The alien shook her head. "Not creatures, human. These are memories, echoes of those who came before, echoes that protect what is sacred." The corridor pulsed with light, and images flickered in Adrian's mind, ships rising from barren worlds, beings of strange power, battles that spanned stars. He staggered, overwhelmed by the visions. The alien steadied him, her hand firm, guiding him forward. Suddenly the corridor split into multiple paths, each glowing differently. Adrian hesitated, uncertainty gripping him. "Which way do we go?" The alien's eyes narrowed. "You must choose, human, but know this. The wrong path could trap you forever." Fear surged, but he remembered her earlier words. "Trust yourself. Trust her." And he stepped forward with determination. Light swirled around him as the corridor seemed to respond, recognizing his choice, approving or testing. It was impossible to tell. The path led them to a massive chamber, its ceiling lost in shadows above. At the center stood a pedestal, glowing with pure energy, and atop it rested a small, pulsating crystal. Adrian's breath caught. The crystal seemed to hum directly into his mind, vibrating with power he could almost feel in his chest. The alien motioned for him to approach. "This is the heart of knowledge, human. It reveals truths to those who are ready." He stepped closer, the floor beneath him shimmering, almost alive, and as he reached out, visions exploded in his mind. He saw the galaxy in turmoil, ships destroyed, planets falling, civilizations on the brink. He saw humans, small and fragile, yet capable of courage, ingenuity, and resilience. And he saw the alien, her kind, powerful and mysterious, yet facing threats that even they could not overcome alone. Adrian staggered, overwhelmed, the weight of knowledge pressing on him, yet something deep inside him ignited, a sense of purpose he had never felt before. Suddenly the chamber shook violently, warning alarms echoing in the crystal. The alien grabbed his arm, pulling him back. "The heart does not tolerate hesitation, human. You must act." Adrian's eyes widened as shadows emerged from the walls. Guardians, crystalline forms that pulsed with energy, moving to challenge intruders. The alien raised her hands, golden energy spreading outward, forming barriers and striking the guardians with precision. Adrian realized he had a choice: stand frozen and let the heart's protectors overwhelm them, or step forward and fight alongside her. He clenched his fists, heart racing, and surged forward, instinct and courage guiding him. With the alien's energy amplifying his movements, he dodged, struck, and pushed past the guardians. Each movement brought him closer to the pedestal, closer to the crystal, closer to understanding what the alien had been preparing him for. Finally, he reached the base of the pedestal, and the crystal pulsed brighter, responding to his presence. The alien stepped beside him, her eyes intense. "You have proven yourself human, not by strength alone, but by courage and will." Adrian gasped, sweat running down his face, the weight of his success and the energy of the heart overwhelming. He looked at her, questions tumbling through his mind. What is this power? Why me? She smiled faintly. Because you are human, and humans see the universe differently, with curiosity, emotion, and hope. Qualities even my kind sometimes forget. A low rumble echoed through the chamber, and the walls shifted, revealing a massive holographic map of the galaxy. Adrian stared, realization dawning. The heart had shown him not only danger, but opportunity. A path where humans and aliens could unite against the coming threat. The alien placed a hand on his shoulder, steadying him. Your journey is only beginning, human. The galaxy awaits, and the choices you make will shape its future. He took a deep breath, awe and fear mingling, and nodded. Together, they turned from the pedestal, leaving the chamber behind. But Adrian knew he could never forget the visions, the power, the responsibility now placed on him. As they walked toward the exit, he felt a spark of determination he had never known. Ready to face whatever trials awaited in the vast, mysterious galaxy, Adrian stepped out of the glowing H. Amber with the alien at his side, the corridor now quieter, but the energy of the heart still thrumming in his mind. He could feel it like a pulse, a warning, a promise that what lay ahead would test him in ways he could not imagine. The alien's eyes glowed softly, her expression serious. Human, what you have seen is only the beginning. The heart has shown you possibilities, but also dangers that loom across the galaxy. Adrian's heart pounded. Dangers? What kind of dangers? He asked, trying to steady his voice. She shook her head slowly. I cannot show you everything yet. You must be ready first, but know this. The galaxy is not safe, not for humans, not for my kind. A low rumble vibrated through the plateau, and Adrian looked up, seeing dark silhouettes emerging on the horizon. Massive warships of unknown origin, glinting like predators under the moons. They are coming, the alien said quietly, but her tone carried urgency. The fleet I warned you about, a force that destroys without mercy, and their path leads straight to this planet. Adrian's stomach twisted, fear and adrenaline surging, but alongside it grew a strange thrill, the excitement of facing the unknown. The alien extended her hand, palm glowing with golden energy. You must understand, human, my mission is not only to survive, it is to prepare you to act, to fight if necessary, and to lead when others falter. Adrian nodded, determination rising inside him. He had felt fear before, but never like this. Never with such clarity of purpose. He followed her to a high ridge overlooking the plateau, and there the full scale of the approaching threat became clear. Hundreds of ships moved in unison, their engines leaving trails of darkness, shapes moving with precision, almost like a living organism. Adrian's eyes widened. How can we stop them? He asked, voice tight with urgency. The alien's gaze hardened. Stop them? No, human. We may not be able to stop them all, but we can fight, and in fighting we can change the outcome. We can protect what must be protected. Suddenly, one of the enemy ships fired, a beam of energy slicing across the sky, striking the plateau and sending rocks and dust flying. Adrian stumbled, barely keeping his balance, as the alien raised her hands, forming a protective barrier that shimmered like liquid light. The fight begins now, she said, her voice calm but commanding. We must move before they realize our position fully. They ran along narrow ridges, leaping over fissures that glowed with molten energy, each step a test of agility and courage. Adrian realized that the alien was not only his guide but also a teacher, showing him how to read the terrain, how to sense danger, how to trust instincts. As they reached a high vantage point, The alien pointed toward a massive ship descending, its engines like coiling serpents, and a sense of dread washed over him. "This is the flagship," she said, her eyes glowing brighter. "Inside are those who plan to conquer, to destroy, to erase civilizations, and we may be the first to challenge them." Adrian swallowed hard, the weight of responsibility pressing down, but he felt a spark of courage, the kind that comes only when survival and hope intertwine. He looked at the alien. "What do we do?" he asked, his voice steady now despite the fear. She smiled faintly, but her eyes were serious. "We strike first, we strike smart, and we strike together. Human, your species may be small, but your ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability are weapons the enemy does not anticipate." The wind howled across the plateau, carrying the smell of ozone and energy, and Adrian felt the raw power of the moment. Knowing that failure was not an option, he clenched his fists, feeling adrenaline surge through him, and nodded, ready to face the impossible. From the horizon, more enemy ships appeared, forming patterns that made the human mind dizzy, and yet, the alien moved with clarity, a beacon of strategy and power. She activated energy conduits along the plateau, channels that pulsed with light and sound, preparing traps, shields, and defenses. Adrian followed, helping to reinforce structures with his own hands, understanding her methods, learning quickly, every second counting. Suddenly, one of the enemy ships breached the outer defenses, and energy blasts rained down, the ground shaking violently. Adrian ducked, narrowly avoiding a strike, and the alien shot a wave of energy that slammed into the enemy, sending it spiraling back. The battle had begun, and the plateau, the heart, and their courage were all they had against the overwhelming force. Adrian looked at the alien, determination burning in his eyes. "I will fight with you, no matter what," he said. She nodded, golden light flaring around her. "Then let the galaxy witness, human, that courage can rise in even the smallest hearts, and together we may change the course of history." And with that, they plunged into the battle, the enemy ships closing in, the plateau alive with energy, and Adrian knew in his bones that nothing would ever be the same again. Adrian and the alien raced across the plateau, energy crackling beneath their feet as enemy ships circled above. The sky glowed red from distant blasts, and every step felt heavier, as if the planet itself was warning them. The alien paused at a ridge, her glowing eyes scanning the horizon. "Human, we cannot fight alone. We need allies, those who understand courage and strategy. We must form an alliance." Adrian nodded, understanding the urgency. "Who can we trust?" he asked. She smiled faintly. "Trust is earned in battle, human, not given lightly. Follow me." They moved quickly through twisting paths of light and shadow. Guided by the alien's instincts, Adrian noticed strange energy constructs rising from the ground, forming defensive positions. The alien touched each one, activating barriers, traps, and conduits that pulsed with golden light. "It is not just power, human. It is preparation, foresight, and timing. Everything matters in a battle against forces like these," she explained, her voice calm yet commanding. Suddenly, a group of smaller ships appeared, human-designed but heavily damaged and fleeing from enemy fire. Adrian's eyes widened. "They're survivors. They can help us." The alien nodded. "Exactly, but we must test their courage and loyalty, human. Only those willing to risk everything can join the alliance." They approached the survivors cautiously, and Adrian noticed fear and hesitation in their eyes. One pilot stepped forward, trembling. We can fight, but the fleet is too strong," he said. Adrian took a deep breath, remembering the heart, the visions, the lessons he had learned. "Strength is not only in numbers," he said. "It is in courage, in unity, and in hope. If we stand together, we can fight back." The alien observed silently, her golden glow intensifying. "He is right, human. Trust in yourself and others, and we may survive what comes next." The survivors hesitated for a moment, then nodded, determination flashing in their eyes. Together they began setting traps, fortifying positions, and planning maneuvers under the alien's guidance. The sky darkened further as enemy scouts descended, probing for weaknesses. Adrian and the alien moved as one, directing energy, giving orders, and teaching the humans to use their instincts. A sudden alarm rang out as a massive scout ship broke through the outer defenses, firing energy beams that scorched the plateau. Adrian ducked, barely avoiding the blast, while the alien raised her hands, sending a wave of energy that shattered the ship's hull. The survivors cheered briefly, but there was no time to celebrate. More ships were approaching, faster and larger this time. The alien turned to Adrian, her eyes fierce. Now is he test human. You must lead, inspire, and fight alongside them. Every choice matters. Adrian felt fear, yes, but also a surge of determination. He had learned to trust, to act, and to adapt. He shouted commands, guiding the survivors into defensive formations, using the plateau's natural hazards as traps, and teaching them to move with precision. Suddenly, an enemy beam struck dangerously close, throwing Adrian to the ground, dust and energy swirling around him. He looked up to see the alien glowing brighter than ever, her energy rippling outward, protecting them all. You are stronger than you know, human, she said, her voice echoing across the plateau. Trust in your instincts, trust in your heart. Adrian rose, wiping sweat from his brow, and saw the alliance taking shape before his eyes. Humans and the alien moving together in perfect sync. They dodged attacks, countered with precision, and struck back at the enemy, each small victory building confidence and hope. The plateau itself seemed to respond, glowing brighter, as if lending its strength to those who fought with courage. From the sky, more massive ships loomed, the flagship leading them, and a sense of impending doom settled over the battlefield. Adrian gritted his teeth, adrenaline surging. We can do this, together, he shouted. The alien nodded, her golden energy flaring. Then let them witness the courage of humans and the power of alliance. We will show them that even the smallest spark can ignite a galaxy-wide fire. And with that, they prepared to strike, the alliance united, the enemy closing in. And Adrian felt a new sense of purpose. He was no longer just an explorer. He was a leader, a fighter, and a part of something greater than himself. The first real confrontation was about to begin, and the galaxy would never forget the courage that rose from the plateau that night. Adrian stood on the ridge, the alien at his side, as the enemy fleet loomed above the plateau, their dark silhouettes blotting out the moons. The air was thick with tension, the hum of alien energy from the here. It's still pulsing through the ground beneath them. He could feel the fear and excitement twisting together, every nerve alert, every sense sharpened. The flagship opened fire first, a beam of concentrated energy slicing toward the plateau, sending rocks and dust into the sky. Adrian dove behind a natural rock formation, narrowly avoiding the blast, while the alien raised her hands, sending a golden shield to absorb the impact. The other ships followed, swarming in coordinated attacks, each more precise than the last, and Adrian realized they were dealing with an intelligence, not just brute force. Human! The alien shouted over the roar of energy and wind. Focus! Now is the time to act. You must lead and protect. Trust your instincts. Adrian nodded, adrenaline surging, his mind clearing as he analyzed the battlefield. He shouted commands to the human survivors, guiding them through defensive maneuvers, using the natural fissures, glowing ridges, and energy channels as traps. A massive enemy drone descended toward them, its eyes glowing red, scanning for life signs. Adrian raised his weapon, aiming carefully, but before he could fire, the alien surged forward, energy flaring from her body, striking the drone with precision. It exploded in a cascade of light and debris, and Adrian felt a thrill of success, yet knew the battle had only begun. From above, the flagship launched pods that dropped like meteors onto the plateau, exploding with fire and energy. The survivors scattered, but Adrian and the alien moved with coordinated speed, guiding them to safety while counterattacking the pods. Every strike, every dodge, every action felt amplified, as if the plateau itself responded to their courage and will. Suddenly, the flagship deployed massive energy tendrils, sweeping across the battlefield, tearing through rocks and defenses. Adrian ducked behind a glowing ridge, heart pounding, watching as the alien extended her hands, sending waves of energy to counter the tendrils. The power she wielded was breathtaking, radiant, and dangerous. Yet she controlled it perfectly. Adrian realized that she was not just a fighter, she was a force of nature, and by her side, he felt invincible. Human now, she shouted. Strike at the core of their formation, break their coordination, create a chance for us. Adrian nodded, leading a small team of humans through a narrow pass, dodging energy blasts and debris. He fired strategically, disabling enemy drones and smaller ships, each hit echoing with impact. The alien followed, her golden energy guiding them, striking fear into the enemy forces with every movement. The flagship itself moved closer, immense and threatening, beams of energy cutting through the air like lightning. Adrian felt his heart race, but he pushed forward, courage replacing fear, determination shining through. The survivors followed his lead, their confidence growing as the alien's presence inspired them. Together they moved as one, a unified force of humans and alien energy, striking where the enemy least expected. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the plateau, throwing Adrian off his feet, dust and light swirling around him. He struggled to rise, vision blurred, but the alien's voice called out, guiding him, steadying him. He looked up to see the flagship's shields faltering, cracks forming from the combined attacks of humans and alien energy. The alien surged forward, unleashing a massive wave of golden light, striking the flagship directly, and it trembled violently, sparks and fire flying across its surface. Adrian felt a rush of triumph and awe, knowing they had changed the tide of battle. But the enemy was far from defeated. More ships were coming, larger, faster, more aggressive. The plateau shook with the intensity of the conflict, and Adrian realized the final moments of this battle were approaching. He clenched his fists, determination blazing, ready to fight, to protect, and to prove that even a single human could make a difference in a galaxy at war. The alien turned to him, eyes glowing brighter than ever. Human, this is the moment, the galaxy watches. Show them what courage can do. Adrian nodded, his heart pounding, energy surging through him. As they charged together into the heart of the battle, the fight raged on, unstoppable, breathtaking. And in that moment, Adrian knew that nothing would ever be the same. The battle had reached its peak. The fate of the plateau and perhaps the galaxy itself rested on their courage, skill, and unity. The plateau shook violently under the barrage of energy blasts and debris. Adrian's heart pounded, every muscle tense as he scanned the battlefield, the alien at his side glowing brighter than ever. The enemy flagship loomed directly above, massive and deadly, its energy tendrils reaching for the plateau as if to crush everything beneath it. Human, the alien shouted, her voice carrying over the roar of battle. We are close. Now is the moment that will decide everything. Adrian nodded, determination blazing. He had faced fear, learned trust, and forged an alliance, but this was the ultimate test. The survivors looked to him for guidance, their confidence bolstered by the victories they had shared. He realized that he could not hesitate. Every second counted, every choice could mean life or death for all of them. The alien surged forward, sending waves of golden energy toward the flagship, destabilizing its shields. Adrian leapt, dodging debris and beams, guiding the humans through energy fissures, directing attacks with precise strategy. The enemy unleashed a wave of destruction, targeting the crystal conduits of the plateau, but the alien countered with raw, controlled power. The energy collided in brilliant flashes, illuminating the plateau in blinding light and Addy. Rian felt the power of the heart thrumming in his chest. Suddenly, the flagship's core became visible, pulsing with a dark energy that threatened to engulf everything. The alien turned to Adrian, eyes intense. This is it, human. The final choice. Strike the core, but it is dangerous. You may not survive. Adrian hesitated for a split second, fear clawing at him. But he remembered the heart, the visions, the courage he had discovered. He clenched his fists, took a deep breath, and surged forward, his mind and body moving as one with purpose and determination. He leapt toward the core, dodging energy beams and the collapsing debris of the flagship. The alien followed closely, amplifying his movements with waves of golden energy, shielding him from deadly strikes. He reached the core, feeling its dark energy pulsing against his chest, threatening to consume him. Adrian focused, channeling every ounce of courage, every lesson learned from the alien and the survivors. With a final powerful strike, he shattered the core, a massive explosion of energy rippling across the battlefield. The enemy ships faltered, their coordination breaking, and one by one they fled, scattering across the stars. Adrian collapsed to his knees, exhausted but victorious, the alien standing beside him, her golden glow softening. The survivors cheered, rushing to his side. gratitude and awe shining in their eyes. The plateau itself seemed to breathe, energy calming, the heart's glow settling into a peaceful rhythm. The alien turned to Adrian, her expression unreadable. "You have done more than survive, human. You have proven the strength of your kind, courage, intelligence, and heart combined." Adrian wiped sweat and dust from his face, looking around at the survivors in the plateau, realizing that this victory was not just his but theirs. He felt a deep connection to the alien, a bond forged in trust, action, and shared danger. "You fought well," she said softly, "but the galaxy is vast, dangers remain, and your journey is far from over." Adrian nodded, understanding the weight of her words, but for the first time he felt truly capable. He had faced fear, uncertainty, and overwhelming power and emerged stronger, ready for whatever the galaxy would throw at him next. The alien's glow faded slightly as she prepared to depart. "Remember, human, even the smallest spark can ignite change across the stars." Adrian smiled, a mix of exhaustion and triumph. "I will remember," he said, his voice steady and full of determination. As she vanished into the night sky, leaving a trail of golden light, Adrian looked out over the plateau, the moons reflecting off the glowing crystals. He realized that courage, trust, and unity could overcome even the greatest threats, and that humanity had a place among the stars. The survivors gathered around him, cheering and embracing, and for a brief moment, peace returned to the plateau. But in the distance, faint signals flickered in the sky, hints that the galaxy still held secrets and dangers yet to be discovered. Adrian clenched his fists, excitement and determination surging, ready for the next adventure, the next challenge, and the endless possibilities of the universe. And with that, the story of courage, trust, and galactic adventure reached its first conclusion, leaving the door open for future journeys. The stars shone brightly above, and Adrian knew that humanity had proven itself, not just in survival, but in the spirit to fight, learn, and grow. The galaxy would never forget the night when a human and an alien stood together, uniting hope and power against impossible odds. And though the threats remained, the spark of courage had been lit, a spark that could change the course of the universe.